All right, guys. I know you are all excited for Teddy Bridgewater versus Case Keenum tonight, right? Can't wait. Should be so fun to watch this game. But no, we have a Millionaire Maker up top, so still money to be made. Again, I'll do my best to try to break her down for you guys, answer any questions you have, so make sure to leave questions in the chat. As far as news to go over today, looks like Bridgewater's going to be good to go. He's questionable but expected to start. He was a little bit banged up. We have news that Jerry Jeudy's still going to be out. We also have news that Odell Beckham Jr. now trending towards not playing uphill battle. So I would say he's more on the doubtful side. And we got news that Jarvis Landry is in fact going to play. So that's really the news. As far as salary goes on the slate, it's pretty easy to get whoever you want in. So I think this is one where you could leave some money on the table to try to get different. But yeah, low total game, right? 41 over under. The Browns are still 1.5 point favorites. I do think you can consider both defenses in the slate just because projected to be pretty ugly. You have below average quarterback and a backup quarterback going up against each other. You have two relatively decent defenses too. So yeah, I think they're in consideration for GPPs. Probably not going to go there for cash games. But yeah, ugly one, right? Again, Case Keenum, I think he's a solid backup. Like, I think he'll do all right. You're getting him at a little bit of a discount off of Teddy Bridgewater, right? 9.4 as opposed to 11K. But yeah, a lot of guys out, right? Baker out, Chubb out, Hunt out, Jerry Jeudy out. Like, all the stars. Odell not looking like he's playing. So again, a slate where I think you could leave some salary on the table to try to get different. I'll go over the snap counts really quick too, and then open up to some questions, guys. So yeah, last week, again, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams are basically just going to play the same amount, like 50-50 split there. Like, Javonte Williams is, in my opinion, the much more talented running back. However, if they're going to get the same amount of touches, then it's basically 50-50. And I do think he's like the sexier play, so Melvin Gordon might come in at less ownership. So that would be one where, like, if Javonte Williams is going to be like, say, 40% and Melvin Gordon's going to be 20%, then I'm going to prefer Melvin Gordon in that situation. Yes, wide receiver, Patrick and Courtland Sutton still should be the top two guys. Both played about 90% of the snaps, with Kendall Hinton being the number 3 wide receiver, playing 63% of the snaps. John Brown actually did see a couple snaps here. We'll see if he's going to be activated for this game. Tight end Noah Fant and then Saubert. So Noah Fant played a majority of the game, and Saubert filled in for Albert O as the backup tight end. Yeah, running back, so again, no Kareem Hunt. So expected to be Dearness Johnson, the early down back. Felton mixed in for third down back. And then maybe John Kelly gets a couple snaps here. Wide receiver, again, don't expect Odell to play. So I think it's going to be DPJ and Jarvis Landry are the top two guys, with maybe Higgins and Schwartz mixed in. And a tight end, they do use 3 guys. Austin Hooper probably the safest because he's going to play the most. He played 75% of the snaps, where Harrison Bryant only played about a third of the game, and Njoku played just under half. So yeah, guys, leave some questions in the chat. Let's get asked me. Yeah, definitely for NBA, that's going to be an interesting one. What's up, Patrick? How's it going? This game could be ugly. It's projected to be, right? It's not going to be a fun one, most likely. Courtland Sutton, favorite captain. I definitely think he's one of the guys that I think has the most upside, right? With no Jerry Jeudy, he is their clear number 1 wide receiver. So 3 of the last 5 games, he's had 12, 11, and 14 targets. And in those 3 games, he had 20-plus fantasy points in each. So, yeah, I think he's one of the guys that has the most upside in the slate. So I do like him a good amount there in the captain spot. If you guys are just coming in, make sure to leave a like button on live stream. I know it's an earlier one, but obviously wanted to get one in for you guys and answer any questions. Both quarterbacks in the flex, okay. Yeah, I mean, this is one in GPPs. I think you could get away with fading a quarterback. Cash games, you probably still play them both. Again, neither are super talented, but they have a pretty high floor. So it's the safe way to go, as I always say. Like, playing both quarterbacks on a Showdown slate is the safe way to go about it. Liable to play both Johnson and Felton? Yeah, that's a good question. So both Cleveland running backs. I do think it's viable because Cleveland's definitely a run-first team, and now they're playing with a backup quarterback, so they might rely on the run game even more. And these are guys I'm pretty familiar with because if you follow my preseason content, we actually played a lot of the Cleveland running backs, these kind of third, fourth string backs. Like, Dearness Johnson actually is a pretty solid runner. He can catch balls out of the backfield too. And then Demetric Felton is super talented, a receiving back. And I do think he'll get some carries as well. So, yeah, Kevin's Fantasy said Felton will be a part of a 3-man backfield. So, does that mean John Kelly is, I believe he's the flat minimum. All right, where is he? He's the flat minimum. I think, I don't expect him to see a lot of work, but you never know. I would say he might get a couple touches. But yeah, really, it's Johnson and Felton that I feel pretty good about. And I do think their price points look good, right? I prefer the price points in these two Cleveland backs than I do the two Denver backs, right? The Denver backs are both $7K plus. The Cleveland backs are mid 4Ks, 5K. So yeah, I think that's certainly viable. Playing them both together. I don't think a lot of people are going to want to do that. So I think it'll make your lineup relatively unique too. I'm perfectly fine playing both of the Cleveland running backs together. And then what about Jarvis? I haven't seen anything of limitations. I think he'll be good to go. He's activated in the IR. So unless we hear news that he's going to be slightly limited, I think he's a very safe play. He's at 6.6K. He's going to be the number one wide receiver. He's going to play out of the slot, obviously. So with a backup quarterback, usually the backup quarterbacks want to get the ball out quick. So that's actually a positive for the slot wide receivers and a guy like Jarvis Landry. So I think he's a very, very safe play on the slate as well. Hinton at 2K. Yeah, so he's going to be the number 3 receiver for Denver. I think it kind of depends on how the game flows. If Denver falls behind early, you're going to have more opportunities for Kendall Hinton. If they playing from ahead, then they might run more, 2 tight end sets, right? So he's the 3rd wide receiver. If they do play from behind, I think he'll play more. I think he's for sure in play. He had last 3 games, 3, and 5 targets. The upside, we haven't really seen it from him, but he's cheap. Again, though, do you need to go down to this range? You can, right? You can leave some salary on the table, which I think is an interesting strategy for large field tournaments. But I think he's one of the few cheap options that I'm considering because he played over half the game last game. Expect around that, maybe more if they do fall behind. Can you fade both quarterbacks? It's another good question. I probably wouldn't, but this is one of the few showdown slates where I think it's possible, right? You could get a game where it's 17-6 final score or something like that, and it's just ground and pound the backs and the kickers are in the winning lineup, and maybe a defense is in there. So it's not something I would do with my one lineup, but I think this is at least you can consider it fading both quarterbacks. Who scores more, Javonte or Mike Davis? Who are the Falcons playing? I haven't really looked at the main slate yet. Falcons are playing the Dolphins. I mean, probably Mike Davis because of his pass catching ability. The Falcons just love dumping it off to the running backs. What did he have? I know him and Cordarrelle Patterson are just getting so many catches. Now, Davis only had 2 catches. I mean, probably a lean to Mike Davis there, I guess. Dearness, a captain, too chalky. I think he'll be relatively popular captain, but for good reason. He's underpriced if he is, in fact, going to be the lead back. So I'm fine eating that chalk. You don't have to play him in the captain spot, though. GBP, Sutton, Patrick, and Fant. Yeah, that's a good question. I'll say Sutton, then Fant, then Patrick. I think Sutton's probably got the most upside, followed by Fant, followed by Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick's probably going to hover in the 10 to 15 fantasy point range, which is fine. It's fine. But you really, for GPs, you want to shoot for that upside, which Courtland Sutton has shown, right? 20 fantasy points in 3 of the last 5 games. And then Noah Fant does have the upside too. He can go get you mid-20 fantasy points as well. So I would say Sutton has the most upside, followed by Fant, followed by Tim Patrick. What time are you going to live for NBA? Yeah, probably, let's see. Do 33. Probably around 4:30, I'll say, for NBA. 4:30 Central. Defenses, a captain, viable. For GPPs, sure. I think you can make an argument for a lot on this slate. But yeah, this is one where I think you can consider the defenses. I'm not going to do it because I just never play the defenses in the showdown slates. But yeah, this is one of those ugly games where you could see a defense get a defensive touchdown and be super low scoring. It's filthy. I agree. It's disgusting. It's one that Free Bones Highland. Don't get me started on that. I was so upset about that. He was a great showdown play last night. If Mike Malone was telling the truth. But no, Mike Malone just decides to straight up lie for no reason. So, Grayson, we'll get to NBA. So just try to keep this NFL, guys. But yeah, the Bucks value looks good, obviously. NFL, any prize picks? I saw like all the projections are pretty low. Let's see. Like look like everyone's like 10 points or below. It's so gross. Again, like the Denver backs, I don't have a lean there because they're both gonna get the same amount of touches. DPJ is at least interesting with Odell most likely out. But I will... I'll say the over on Demetric Felton. I think he's talented. I think he'll get some carries, and obviously he's going to be involved in the pass game. But, like, yeah, that's not something I'm very confident. Dearness or Jarvis for safety and upside. The upside play, I think, is Jarvis. I think the slightly safer play is Dearness Johnson, just because he'll be the early down back. But, yeah, I think Jarvis has more upside. Favorite play under 5.4K. Okay, so under 5.4K, it's going to be the Browns running backs. I think Johnson's your safer option. Don't mind going to Felton for GPPs, but yeah, I'll say Dearness Johnson at that price. Hey guys, what's up? DFS Whispers. Dearness Johnson, 1.5 receptions to Fremont. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Is that what he is on Prize Picks? 1.5 receptions? Let's see. Receptions. You said Dearness Johnson or Felton? Oh, they have Johnson at 1.5. Okay. Do they not have Felton up here? Doesn't look like they do. But, yeah, I don't hate that. Again, he's going to be their lead back, and Cleveland's going to really work the running game. So that makes some sense. Jarvis injury, no. I'm not going to avoid it because, like, unless we hear something that, like, I don't think they're going to push him, right? I don't think there's a need to really push him back here. So I think he's basically good to go. So unless we hear otherwise, unless we hear he's, like, they're going to limit his snaps or something, then we can pivot off him. But, like, as it stands right now, I'm not super worried about it. A former Viking. Yeah, exactly. That's true. Both former Vikings quarterbacks. Which sucks more, LOL. Yeah, I mean, like, point per dollar, it's probably a lean to Case Keenum for being, like, almost $2,000 cheaper. But, Joel, you love the early slates, man. You love them. You know it. You like Case Keenum? Do you like Case Keenum? Yeah, I think Case Keenum, like, I think I slightly prefer him point per dollar to Teddy Bridgewater since he's 9.4 as opposed to 11K in Bridgewater. Like I said, I think he's actually like a solid backup in this league. I don't think he's like the best backup quarterback, but I do think he's probably like, if you rank the backup quarterbacks, Case Keenum, probably like a top 10 backup quarterback. So, yeah, I think he's fine. He's fine. Keenum for 30 fantasy points. That would really surprise me. Wind and weather an issue tonight. I haven't looked into that too much. Is it going to be windy? I know it's at Cleveland, and Cleveland has had, last year especially, they had a couple games where the wind was like insane. I haven't looked into that too much, but is it going to be bad weather? Which Cleveland back do you like more for GP? That's a good question. So I'll say Felton because I think Johnson's going to get a lot more ownership. I like both, but if like Johnson's going to be double the ownership of Felton, then that's where I'll probably lean Felton. I could see the Browns D-line get to Teddy. Yeah, again, that's why I think both defenses are actually in play on this slate. If I had to pick a defense, I think I would rather go to the Browns defense at home. But yeah, what if I took the over on Teddy 234? I think that hits if they fall behind early, but like if the Broncos are playing from ahead, it's going to be a lot of ground and pound Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams. So like that one's going to kind of depend on game flow. I don't have a super strong take on it. Brown secondary has been disgusting this year. I think Teddy could feast. You think so? Yeah, I mean they definitely got lit up by the Cardinals. Yeah, I mean I'm fine stacking Teddy with a couple of his receivers, right? I think the Broncos receiving targets probably a little more upside than the Browns receiving targets. Johnson had one carry with Chubb out, which will be a three-back committee. You think so? You think it's going to be just a three-headed monster? I think that's a bold take. I don't think it's going to be that way, but I guess I wouldn't be super surprised. The way I think it goes, I think Dearness Johnson's going to be the early down back. Felton the third down back. I think John Kelly probably sees a few carries. So I think we'll probably get around 15 touches for Dearness Johnson, maybe 10 to 12 for Felton, and maybe like 2 to 3 for John Kelly. I think that's how I would guess kind of the touches go. Yeah, I'll be doing one later. I'll be doing one probably in like an hour, NBA live stream. Font under 50 yards. Again, kind of depends on game flow. Like he had 97 last week because they fell behind early. So, I mean, with Jerry Jeudy out, he's definitely like him and Sutton are their top targets. Alberto out too. I'm okay going the over on Font. Wind looks to be 20 miles an hour kickoff. Okay, so that's relatively high. Yeah, that definitely I think will affect things a little bit. So no, I wouldn't still prioritize the defenses, but like I said, I think that they're in play for GPPs. Like I don't think that wind is going to make me jam in both defenses and like just all running backs. But I do think that it is a slight risk to the passing game. Yeah, I think you can play both Cleveland backs. I do. I think they're both underpriced if it's going to be Felton and Johnson getting the majority of the touches. Thoughts on Njoku? I think he's a vibe. I think the reason you go there is for ownership. He had the one big game, was it 2 weeks ago, where he had like 7 catches on 7 targets. But other than that, he's been hovering around like 2 to 3 targets. So Njoku's at 5.4. Austin Hooper's at 3.8. I think Hooper looks more optimal, right? Getting slightly more targets, and then he is going to play more. So the reason you go to Njoku is not for, he looks really good for his price. The reason you go there, I think, is for ownership because Hooper, I think, looks better point per dollar. Courtland Sutton over 71 yards. Again, if the Broncos fall behind early, that's where I think they can hit those, those overs. Whether it's Sutton or Bridgewater or Font. The way that goes under, if they get off to an early lead, I think it's gonna be a lot of ground and pound. How do you feel about a Keenum, a Hooper, Felton, Johnson? I think it's fine. Yeah. So you're loading up on the Browns though, right? All Browns. Dearness Johnson gets goal line carries over Felton. I would think so. Yeah. I would think it's gonna be Johnson getting a lot of the early down work and goal line work. I think Felton's more the shifty back. So I expect him to be out there more in passing down situations. Play all 4 running backs for GPPs. Yeah, just jam in all the running backs and the defenses and just hope for like a 14-7 game and that win is just crazy. You can make an argument for a lot of different things. Like usually at a Showdown slates, I'm crossing out the defenses. I'm really focusing on, a lot of the main guys. But would I be surprised if Rashad Higgins is in the winning lineup? No. Kendall Hinton, right? We talked about him a little bit. We have the backup tight. The way Showdowns have been going, this is what you should do. You should just do this. And let's see. Where is Cleveland? You should do this. And just play like the second, third string tight ends. And you're going to win all the money. Because they're going to get rushing touchdowns. They're going to throw for 2-point conversions. Just jam in all the third-string tight ends, and you're going to win $1 million. Landry or DPJ? It's a good question. I'm going to lean Landry. I know DPJ had a good game last game, but with Landry healthy, I think he's still the more talented wide receiver. Which defense is more viable? I would say Cleveland's defense. You think Denver? I would say Cleveland. I like their defense better at home, but yeah. Last one, Peoples over 39 yards. The issue is Cleveland, they rarely pass to their wide receivers. They're just all dump offs to the running backs or to the tight ends. It's not a super strong lane in that. You love DPJ. I mean, I do like DPJ as a player. He's a Michigan man, so I like him. But he's at the same price as Jarvis. I think I would lean Jarvis over him. So. And do I want to play 2 Cleveland wide receivers together? Not really. So that's just my take on it. I'm fine with DPJ. He looked great last weekend, caught 2 touchdowns. I think he's a talented wide receiver. You like Hooper? I think he's I think he's the optimal Cleveland tight end. He's going to play the most. He's way cheaper than Njoku. He's running more routes. So, yeah, I think Hooper is the guy I would go to of the Cleveland tight ends. The reason you go to Njoku is for ownership, right? He's priced more. He's going to play less, but you never know, right? Suboptimal plays can definitely work out. So that's the reason you go there. Harrison Bryant season. Yeah, again, just play all the third-string tight ends. Harrison Bryant actually is a viable punt play. We'll close it out on this, guys, because I do have to get out of here. But, yeah, he's $200. He's still playing a decent amount. Early in the year, he was averaging like 3 targets a game or so. So the way Showdown has been going, that's who you want to play. One-sided game. I think it'll be close. Font or Patrick. I think Font's the upside play of the two. But, all right, guys, I'm going to close it on that. Appreciate you checking out the Thursday Night Football Showdown site. NBA fans, I'll be live in like an hour or so to talk some NBA, 3-game slate. But, yeah, guys, good luck tonight. Hopefully someone in here wins $1 million. Hopefully this game's a little more entertaining than it looks like on paper. And, yeah, I will see you guys back here in the next live stream. So good luck, guys.